So we have down here init new and get properties and load. Now get properties is one that I added. This is not a, you can see it returns a variant map. But init new, what init new does is that is called if there are no param tags. And if there are param tags, then instead load is called. What we're going to do if there are param tags is we're going to take the property bag that's passed in, cast it to an iPropertyBag2, which is going to allow us to actually enumerate what param tags are there. And then the whole purpose of this function here is we pull all the param tags out, we stuff them into a variant map, and we give them to the plugin, and that's where your m_params comes from. Client site set. Okay, this is a utility function that we use that we call from set site and set client site. It basically means we now know where we are. We have a reference to the web browser ActiveX interface and the client site, and so we can now create a browser host. And once we've created the browser host, then we call set host. We can't do this until a little bit later in the life cycle, whereas plugin main is actually created earlier, and that's the reason why in your plugin constructor you don't have a browser host yet. It's also why you don't have a JS API object, because the JS API object generally you don't want to create until after your browser host is created, just in case you need the browser host. So set ready is where we're going to create the root.js API if it hasn't been created already. We call get root.js API, which is then going to call create.js API, which is a function that you provide. We give it the host, and set API is actually implemented in the JS API iDispatch EX because that's what provides the JS API, the iDispatch wrapper for JS API. Set ready state is just notifying the browser that we're ready, and we call set ready, which is going to fire the onload event. So shutdown is called when set site or set client site is called with a null site. You can see here we check if not unknown site, if not pclient site, then call shutdown. So basically, when the browser is ready to remove the control, the first thing it's going to do is it's going to call set site or set client site and tell it null. In other words, you're no longer in that site. So when that happens, that's when we call the shutdown method on the host. Then we call shutdown, we clear the window, which is going to call the detached event, although really it's already been done during in-place deactivate. This is just in case the browser sends it in a strange order, which strangely enough I have actually seen worse. I've seen stranger things. So then we call shutdown on the plugin. Now shutdown is really useful there because it gives you a place where you can shut down threads and such before you actually have your before your weak pointers and shared pointers are no longer valid, because once plugin main destructor occurs, all of your weak and shared pointers can't be used anymore. Then we're going to delete the plugin window object if it still exists. Reset the JS API, reset the plugin. This is where the plugin object was actually going to get deleted. And then reset and clear anything else that we may still have. This is where the browser host is going to get deleted. I've never actually had an issue with ActiveX not shutting down the host, although it might not be a bad idea to add, as we have an NP API, a check to make sure that this host really did go away. So then we have some other utility things. Get class ID. This is used by some various things in COM. That's just going to return the object class ID. Saved, we don't actually do anything because we don't save any data as far as the property bag goes. Interface safety options. Process window message. This one's a little more useful because this is actually where the this is the first WinProc that is created. We don't generally worry about this because when we create the plugin window, we subclass the hwind, and that will cause this to get called as a secondary thing only if it wasn't handled in the other place. So that gives you a brief rundown of the FBControl object. And we're going to break this into another piece, but next time we're going to look at the ActiveX browser host object and the JS API iDispatch EX object.